Hey everyone. So, if you haven't noticed, I haven't been talking much about coaching changes in the NHL. I think I've touched on a couple of the firings in videos, but I haven't really gone in depth about all the coaching changes or any of the hirings because I wanted to do it all in one video. I was going to wait until everything got settled and done with, and then I was going to do, this team, this was their coach last year, he got fired, this is their coach now, and just do it that way once everybody got everything settled. But some news broke today that I think was deserving of a video, and kind of really big news. And so I'm gonna do a video on that right now, and I will still do the coaching, all the coaching changes at the end. But this one I think deserves special attention. The New York Islanders have fired general manager Garth Snow and head coach Doug Waite today. Um, they just brought in Lou Lamoriello from Toronto after Toronto didn't they let him go from being general manager, and he was going to be a senior advisor there. That was the plan. Lamoriello didn't want that senior advisor job. He wants to be a GM, so he left and now got picked up by the Islanders, and now he has named himself the New York Islanders general manager. So he will be running the show in New York, and they will begin a search for a new coach immediately. This has been a long time coming in New York. Not so much Doug Waite, because he's only coached there for a season and a half. So not so much Doug Waite, but Garth Snow finally getting canned has been a long time coming with the Islanders. He just quite frankly has not done a very good job with the Islanders. And I think overall this is a huge push by New York to try and get John Tavares to re-sign with the team. John Tavares was drafted in 2009. I didn't look that up. I'm going off the top of my head. I believe he was drafted in 2009. So he has been with the Islanders for almost a decade now. The Islanders have not come close to a Stanley Cup with John Tavares there, and that is not John Tavares' fault. He is an elite player in the NHL. He is a franchise player in the NHL. Scoring and offense and nothing that John Tavares has anything to do with has been the issue in New York. New York's biggest problems over the last 10 years have been goaltending and defense. They have not had a franchise goalie, and their defense has been mediocre at best. Garth Snow has had plenty of time to try and fix these issues, and he has not done it. New York has not been close to being a contender at any point since John Tavares has gone there. Sure, they've been a playoff team some years, but they're always out in the first round, or they made it to the second round once. But they're always a quick out in the playoffs, and half the time they don't even get to the playoffs, like this past year. When you look, that team should have been a playoff team this past year, but they didn't have the goaltending or the defense to do it. They put up a ton of goals. Their offense was fantastic. Matt Barzal burst onto the scene with 85 points. Tavares had 80-something points. Garth Snow has had plenty of time as the Islanders GM to put a team together that at least could consistently make the playoffs and make it a couple of rounds in. He didn't do that. This was a long time coming. He needed to go. Is Lou Lamoriello the right guy to turn the Islanders around? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. He's done a very good job at other stops that he's had in his NHL career. He turned New Jersey into an absolute, cup contender almost every year. He did a great job with the Maple Leafs, taking them from a bottom-feeding garbage team to a team that at least now is ripe with young talent and is a playoff team on a regular basis now, and looks to be for a long time in the future. Whoever they pick to be the coach is going to be really important, and I have no idea who that's going to be. If they're going to pull a first-time coach out of the college ranks or the junior ranks, or if they're going to go with someone more experienced and maybe a Daryl Sutter type. I have no idea what direction they're going to go with the coach. but that's going to be important. It's also going to be really important if they want to be any good and not have to go through a complete rebuild to re-sign John Tavares. And I think this is Islanders ownership making one last push to get Tavares to sign long-term in New York. They're already working on getting a new building, going back to Long Island, and getting the hell out of Barclays Center, which they need to do. That should help with Tavares. And now they'll get a whole new management team in and a new coach in. That's their last push to say, JT, we're trying to do the best we can to turn this franchise around, to get back to Stanley Cup level. Sign here with us. You're an elite franchise player. You and Barzal together can be the cornerstone of this franchise for the next 10 to 15 years, or maybe 10 to 15 for Barzal, probably closer to 10 more for Tavares. But please re-sign here, and we're doing what we can to turn this around, because up to this point, John Tavares really doesn't have much of a reason to stay in New York. He should be looking to win Stanley Cups, and now that he's going to be a free agent this summer, he should be looking to go to a team like maybe a Vegas, maybe a San Jose, maybe a Toronto if they could somehow fit that under the cap. A team that is a playoff team already and is just one piece away from being a bona fide Stanley Cup favorite or contender. And that's what John Tavares should be looking for. And the Islanders are not there right now. So I think this is a last-ditch effort to get JT to sign long-term with them. And then hopefully, they make some serious strides as far as free agency or trades or draft or however they want to do it. They need to get a legitimate franchise goaltender on Long Island. They need to get a legitimate number one defenseman. Listen, Johnny Boychuk is a fine defenseman. I mean, I loved him in his Bruins days. I really like Johnny Boychuk. He's a solid defenseman. He is not a number one defenseman. Nick Leddy, not a number one defenseman. Sure, he's a solid 3. He can be the 2 if you need it, but if you need him to be. But he is not a number one defenseman. The Islanders need a true standout superstar number one defenseman, a Drew Doughty type, a Victor Hedman type, an Erik Karlsson type. Someone, the type of defenseman that the Bruins hope that Charlie McAvoy turns into. They need a superstar number one defenseman, and they need a franchise goaltender, not Thomas Greiss and Jarro Halak swapping 5 goals against games. That's not going to cut it in the NHL. So I'm glad that the Islanders made this move. It's good for them. This was a long time coming and absolutely needed to be done. We'll see if the new management and new coach that they bring in can turn things around. And I believe that wholeheartedly that this is a last-ditch effort to try to get Tavares to re-sign there. And we'll have to see in free agency if it's successful or not. But at least they're doing something, because something needed to be done. Because there is no reason for them to be wasting John Tavares' career like they have so far. They should at least be a playoff team every year, and they should be working to be a legitimate cup contender, and they aren't even close at this point. So we'll see what the new management and coaching staff can do. But if Tavares leaves, it's going to be time for a complete rebuild and starting from scratch with Barzal as your centerpiece and elite player. If you can get another elite level player like him in there, then I think you have good footings for a solid rebuild. But if Tavares stays, then they need to do whatever they can, whether through the draft or trading or free agency, to get at least a playoff team on the ice next year. We'll have to wait and see what happens. So like, comment, share, subscribe, follow on social media, check out offthewallhockey.com. All those links in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Keep spreading the word about this channel, almost to 200 subscribers. So let's get there. Let me know what you guys think about this situation in the comments, and I will do a video once all the coaching changes are done and everything seems to be all set for next season, I will do a video about all of that. So, thank you guys again so much for watching, and I will talk to you soon.